Can a 30-year-old burnout build an FPS game in just 7 days? Will it work? Will it even be any fun? Find out in King Bedhead's 7-Day FPS 2022 devlog. This is Day 0, Prelude of Prototypes. The dogme-style film movement was founded in the 1990s by Danish directors who believed in following a strict series of rules for their film craft that they called vows of chastity. They didn't allow handheld cameras, you had to film on 35mm. These guys had some twisted morals, as the themes of their films and many of the scenes directors' alleged behavior in later years would go on to reinforce. But dogme-style filmmakers also had to submit a confessional of all the times they broke those rules during filmmaking, and that's the inspiration for episode 0 in my 7-Day FPS devlog series. I'm showing you all the prep work I did ahead of time for this crazy week of very amateur game development with a prelude of prototypes. The basic FPS controller is built off of code supplied by GitHub and Reddit user u/Fossagutton. I've tweaked it to get it working in the beta for Godot 4.0, and adjusted how it connects to the character mesh to align with my simplified player model. There's no separate head mesh, so the camera node is simply positioned above the model, and the whole thing actually rotates together, which works for my purposes but would definitely look weird in a multiplayer setting. For the environment and the character models you'll see, I built simple files in Blender. I exported them individually and then loaded them into a mesh library in Godot so that I could build them on a tile map. I set up the shooting mechanism by instantiating a bullet pack scene whenever the player clicks, and the bullet timer isn't running. This way the bullet timer can be adjusted down the road to accommodate different speeds for automatic shooting. The bullet is repositioned to the crosshair, a 3D sprite instance floating in front of the camera and given an impulse based on the ray between the crosshair and the camera to ensure it shoots forward. Here are the scribbles from my notebook while I was working this out. One more scribble from my notebook showing my initial idea for the FPS. I want to do a Doom 1993 inspired shooter with 3D levels and 2D billboard style sprites for the player's UI and any in-game objects, including enemies. Since my name is Dennis, I temporarily titled this idea Den of Doom, but that's very likely to change as I work out the concept. Here, I've depicted some hands shooting a fireball Kamehameha style, but we'll see how tough that is to animate. It took me a while to decide on the Doom style, but after playing around in Blender trying to make some gun models, I realized that I was going to be able to add a lot more variety into the game in this limited amount of time with my current workflow and skill level when it comes to making 2D assets. The jam officially starts at 3 a.m. my time, so tomorrow I'll wake up and start cracking on a formal idea, probably sketching out some visual ideas first for theme, coming up with some sort of scope after that. I'm not planning on touching multiplayer, so this is really going to come down to how I'm going to structure my levels or areas of the game, and how many of them I think I can make in a week. Stay tuned for updates. Thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed this content, please be sure to let me know by hitting the like button, and if you really enjoyed it and want to stay tuned on my progress, you can always hit subscribe to get updates throughout the next week or so as I'm working on this game. Thanks. Peace out.